What it's not true about interfaces? A. Interfaces can be instantiated. B. There are no method bodies in interfaces. C. An interface is a reference type. D. Interfaces can be extended by other interfaces. Correct answer A. Interfaces can be instantiated. Interfaces cannot be instantiated, but rather are implemented. A class that implements an interface must implement all of the non-default methods described in the interface, or be an abstract class. Object references in Java may be specified to be of an interface type. In each case, they must either be null or be bound to an object that implements the interface, which is a reserved word in the Java programming language. A. Method. B. Native. C. Subclass. D. Reference. Correct answer B. Native. Native specifies that a method is not implemented in the same Java source file but in another language. Which two of the following statements, inserted independently, could legally be inserted into a missing section of this code? 1, 2, 3, 4. A. 1 and 4. B. 2 and 3. C. 1 and 3. D. 2 and 4. Correct answer D. 2 and 4. 2 is correct because class type ticker is part of the class hierarchy of T, therefore it is a legal use of the instance of operator. 4 is also correct because component is part of the hierarchy of T because ticker extends component. 1 is incorrect because the syntax is wrong. A variable or null always appears before the instance of operator and a type appears after it. 3 is incorrect because the statement is used as a method T.instance of ticker, which is illegal, which will contain the body of the thread. A. Run. B. Start. C. Stop. D. Main. Correct answer A. Run. Option A is correct. The run method to a thread is like the main method to an application. Starting the thread causes the object's run method to be called in that separately executing thread. Option B is wrong. The start method causes this thread to begin execution. The Java virtual machine calls the run method of this thread. Option C is wrong. The stop method is deprecated. It forces the thread to stop executing. Unicode character set in Java contains A. 20 bits. B. 32 bits. C. 64 bits. D. 16 bits. Correct answer D. 16 bits. Unicode is a 2-byte, 16-bit character set with 2 raised to the power 16 or 65,536 different possible characters. The first 256 characters of Unicode, that is, the characters whose high order byte is 0, are identical to the characters of the ISO Latin 1 character set. Thus 65 is ASCII and Unicode A, 66 is ASCII and Unicode B, and so on. All exception types are subclass of the built-in class. A. Exception. B. Runtime exception. C. Throwable. D. None of the above. Correct answer C. Throwable. All exception types are subclass of the built-in class throwable. Exception is used for exceptional conditions that user program should catch. Important subclass of exception is runtime exception. Which two are acceptable? 1 byte to long, 3 character, 4 float, 5 short, 6 long. A. 1 and 3. B. 2 and 4. C. 3 and 5. D. 4 and 6. Correct answer A. 1 and 3. Switch statements are based on integer expressions, and since both bytes and characters can implicitly be widened to an integer, these can also be used. Also shorts can be used. Short and long are wrapper classes, and reference types cannot be used as variables. Which three guarantee that a thread will leave the running state? 1. Yield. 2. Wait. 3. Notify. 4. Notify all. 5. Sleep 1000. 6. AliveThread.join. 7. Thread.killThread. A 1, 2 and 4. B 2, 5 and 6. C 3, 4 and 7. D 4, 5 and 7. Correct answer B 2, 5 and 6. 2 is correct because wait always causes the current thread to go into the object's wait pool. 5 is correct because sleep will always pause the currently running thread for at least the duration specified in the sleep argument unless an interrupted exception is thrown. 6 is correct because, assuming that the thread you are calling join on is alive, the thread calling join will immediately block until the thread you are calling join on is no longer alive. 1 is wrong but tempting. The yield method is not guaranteed to cause a thread to leave the running state, although if there are runnable threads of the same priority as the currently running thread, then the current thread will probably leave the running state. 3 and 4 are incorrect because they don't cause the thread invoking them to leave the running state. 7 is wrong because there's no such method. Which of the following define the rules for net languages? A. GAC. B. CLS. C. CLI. D. CLR. Correct answer B. CLS. CLS, which is subset of CTS, Common Language Specifications. This defines set of rules which every language must follow which run under .NET framework. Autoboxing is the term used for A. Automatic conversion of primitive value to wrapper object. B. Automatic conversion of wrapper object to primitive value. C. Wrapping a variable in class. D. Packing a class in package. Correct answer A. Automatic conversion of primitive value to wrapper object. Autoboxing refers to the conversion of a primitive value into an object of the corresponding wrapper class is called autoboxing. For example, converting int to integer class. The Java compiler applies autoboxing when a primitive value is passed as a parameter to a method that expects an object of the corresponding wrapper class assigned to a variable of the corresponding wrapper class. What will be the output of the program? A. Finished. B. Compilation fails. C. An assertion error is thrown and finished is output. D. An assertion error is thrown with the message assertion failed. Correct answer B. Compilation fails. Compilation fails. You can't use the assert statement in a similar way to the ternary operator. Don't confuse. Which three are valid method signatures in an interface? A. Private int get area. 2. Public float get wall float x. 3. Public void main string args. 4. Public static void main string args. 5. Boolean set flag Boolean test. A 1, 2 and 3. B 2, 3 and 5. C 3, 4 and 5. D 2, 3 and 4. Correct answer B 2, 3 and 5. These are all valid interface method signatures. 1 is incorrect because an interface method must be public. If it is not explicitly declared public, it will be made public implicitly. 4 is incorrect because interface methods cannot be static. Which of the statements is true in a protected derivation of a derived class? From a base class. A. Private members of the base class become protected members of the derived class. B. Protected members of the base class become public members of the derived class. C. Public members of the base class become protected members of the derived class. D. Protected derivation does not affect private and protected members of the derived class. Correct answer D. Protected derivation does not affect private and protected members of the derived class. Protected derivation is a slight variation of private derivation. With private derivation, all protected and public base class members become private in the derived class. With protected derivation, all protected and public base class members become protected in the derived class. Which of the following class level, non-local, variable declarations will not compile? A. Protected int A. B. Transient int B equal to 3. C. Private synchronized int E. D. Volatile int D. Correct answer C. Private synchronized int E. Option C will not compile. The synchronized modifier applies only to methods. Option A and B will compile because protected and transient are legal variable modifiers. Option D will compile because volatile is a proper variable modifier. An exception thrown from outside try block will A. Call function return. B. Be ignored. C. Hang the machine. D. Call function terminate. Correct answer D. Call function terminate. In common programming languages such as Java or Python, if an exception is thrown outside a try block, it essentially means that the code's built-in safety measures are not activated. This is akin to a trapeze artist performing without a safety net. Which two statements, added independently at beginning of the program, allow the code to compile? 1. No statement is required. 2. Import java.utility. 3. Import java.utility.tree*. 4. Import java.utility.treeset. 5. Import java.utility.treemap. A1 only. B2 and 5. C3 and 4. D2 and 4. Correct answer B, 2 and 5. TreeMap is the only class that must be imported. TreeSet does not need an import statement because it is described with a fully qualified name. 1 is incorrect because TreeMap must be imported. 3 is incorrect syntax for an import statement. 4 is incorrect because it will not import TreeMap, which is required. Which of the following JSP variables are not available within a JSP expression? Select the one correct answer. A. Out. B. Session. C. Request. D. HTTP session. Correct answer D. HTTP session. To simplify code in JSP expressions and scriptlets, you are supplied with 8 automatically defined variables, sometimes called implicit objects. The available variables are request, response, out, session, application, config, page context, and page. Which statement is true? A. A try statement must have at least one corresponding catch block. B. Multiple catch statements can catch the same class of exception more than once. 3. C. An error that might be thrown in a method must be declared as thrown by that method or be NDLD within that method. D. Except in case of VM shutdown, if a try block starts to execute, a corresponding finally block W will always start to execute. Correct answer D. Except in case of VM shutdown, if a try block starts to execute, a corresponding finally block W will always start to execute. A is wrong. A try statement can exist without catch, but it must have a finally statement. B is wrong. A try statement executes a block. If a value is thrown and the try statement has one or more catch clauses that can catch it, then control will be transferred to the first such catch clause. If that catch block completes normally, then the try statement completes normally. C is wrong. Exceptions of type error and runtime exception do not have to be caught, only checked exceptions, java.lang.exception, have to be caught. However, speaking of exceptions, exceptions do not have to be handled in the same method as the throw statement. They can be passed to another method. If you put a finally block after a try, and its associated catch blocks, then once execution enters the try block, the code in that finally block will definitely be executed except in the following circumstances. 1. An exception arising in the finally block itself. 2. The death of the thread. 3. The use of system.exit. 4. Turning off the power to the CPU. I suppose the last 3 could be classified as VM shutdown. How many methods are defined in the serializable interface? A. 1. B. 2. C. None. D. 4. Correct answer C. None. If you want a class object to be serializable, all you need to do is implement the java.io serializable interface. Serializable in Java is a marker interface and have no fields or methods to implement. What will be the output of the program? A. 3. B. -3. C. NaN. D. Compilation fails. Correct answer C. NaN. The square root method returns NaN, not a number, when its argument is less than 0.